Okay, today we're going to be looking at a silver Winston player. Thank you very much for submitting your replay. Just to quickly introduce the Winston fundamentals before we look at the comps and the gameplay, you need to have good target priority. That simply means you need to know who to be shooting, when to be shooting them. You need to have good engagement timing and staging. Staging simply means getting yourself into a good position for your dive. For example, you might see people playing up here. Instead of just kind of walking in a straight line and trying to do a long jump, you might stage by jumping from here to here, then here to here, or something of that nature. That is staging. And engagement timing, obviously, are we going in at the right time? Is our team with us or not? And you can obviously see that by just turning around and checking on your team. And the last thing is going to be playing for important space. Not just random space, not just walking through main, realizing I need to be taking certain positions. And for that, you need to understand the basic theory of attackers versus defenders. So have a think for just a second. Why do attackers get 4 minutes? 4 minutes just to take this 1 point. 4 minutes on every hybrid map just to take the first point. What about the map justifies a 4-minute time bank? Well, obviously, you expect the defenders to win. But why do you expect the defenders to win? Because defenders have better positions. I call them power positions. Because standing here is a very powerful position for the Ana. Because it allows her to set up her nades. It allows her to scout. Only if you have something like a sniper does she have to give up this position. And even then, she can move back to here. And even here. Obviously, the Ana won't be playing here. But you might have someone flanking here. Even a Genji setting up, going for a wall climb over the roof. So you have these power positions, and so it's the attacker's job to displace the defenders from these power positions, because this is a big part of why defenders have the advantage in these fights. Okay, so now we're going to move on. We're just going to quickly look at the comps. The tank matchup is not too complicated. Ultimately, you want to dance, kind of go in, you want to dance in and out of your bubble, go in and out of your bubble to avoid Sigma's rock. Landing on top of him, preventing him from damaging your team, taking space away from him, because his primary fire is incremental, so it goes like da-dum, 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 like that. You can dodge his shots really easily if you have your bubble down. So that's the main thing to think about with the tank matchup. It's a winning matchup most of the time for Winston. In my opinion, there's nothing else that's really that important apart from the fact that they have a lot of spam damage. So I can anticipate this will be difficult for you, but we're going to break down how to approach that difficulty. The last thing is you have a Genji. So at times it's worth paying attention to where your Genji is. If you know where your Genji is, you can see if he is in a position to dive or if he's already diving, in that case you can join your Genji. So the first thing is going to be jumping forward like this is extremely telegraphed. If we look from the Junkrat's POV, I just want to show you how telegraphed this is. So he's standing in the spawn, Genji deflects, but you're jumping kind of right into him, and so a good Junkrat player instantly is going to use his mine and he's going to boop you out of the way. And at the same time, the Sigma should be charging up his rock, but he used it right out of the gate, so you should be mined by the Junkrat, you should be rocked by the Sigma, and even the Torb should be spamming you as you kind of jump through main. So ideally you want to avoid jumping right out into the open, right into the enemy team, because if we look at your team, nobody is able to follow up at all. So what I would recommend is you start jumping to a place where, again, we're staging a dive, we're getting ready to make an aggressive jump. So you can jump up here, you can jump up here, you could even just jump to the side and start approaching from the stairs. And this gives you a more balanced approach. Whereas if we look now, you jump straight in and you're forced to use your bubble. Right now it's actually a 5v1 and the enemy team should easily be able to force you out. It's just they use their cooldowns really early at the spawn doors, so they're not able to do that. So I'd just be a bit careful with how deep you're going early on and how much you're committing, because this was a heavy commit. Thankfully, we don't get punished for it. And so one thing you really have to be careful of here, that I'm not a fan of, is how wide you're swinging. So I'm going to zoom out and I just want to show you what I mean by that. So if we pay attention to your position, right? You swing out really wide to try and get a right click. And you know there's a shield in front of you anyway, which means you're not going to get value from that right click. And again, you swing out really, really wide. And the reason I don't like this is because, as we said, they have a spam comp. It's going to be a lot of damage for you, a lot of damage for you to deal with. I just hate this position. So we need to make sure we're playing actually tighter, we're playing closer to cover, so we don't take too much damage early. The problem with taking too much damage early is it means it delays our engagement, which means we might miss a good time to jump in because we have to wait to be healed up. And so you can see it now, right? Look at your HP. You're losing all your armor, and armor on Winston is really important to keep when you're jumping in. And there we have it, right? So if we look at your Genji's moving up. He's deflecting. He might even get some damage on this Junkrat. He gets some damage on this Junkrat. So theoretically, you could have been jumping in, bubbling to separate the Junkrat, and you and Genji could have got that kill together, because I'm sure that your Genji still has his dash. He does have his dash. So here's a kill opportunity with Mist within like 15 seconds of the match starting. Why is that? Because we swung too wide. We take too much damage early on. So what I would like you to do in the future is to be more selective in what kind of poke you're taking, what kind of damage you're taking, because losing 300 HP in exchange for 2 right clicks is obviously not worth it. So let's think about how we could be staging instead. So like I said, if you don't want to swing too wide, you could even just jump over and land here and try and make your way through. You could jump to the side here, so you're not directly on top of anyone, you're not getting spammed, but you force them back, you force them to look at you. And eventually you can make your way up here. As we said, we want to get Ana away from the power position. Let's see what happens instead. So again, we're swinging in, we're taking so much damage, and can you see how when we jump, we land with half of our HP missing? This is obviously a massive problem, because all the Junkrat has to do is walk into your bubble, shoot, mine, and that's enough damage to kill you. An important thing as well is, again, to play close to cover. I really like what you're doing here, but just anticipate when your bubble will go down quickly. If you think you're going to lose your bubble HP instantly, start backing off the cover, as you did here. So this is really well played, a really good use of cover. You're able to get your armor back, and you're able to kind of prepare for another dive. So here, you don't have bubble, and if you don't have bubble, it's really risky to go for any kind of aggressive play. So if you don't have bubble, what I would recommend doing is poking with your right click, or you're looking to, again, stage in a position where you're not going to take too much damage. Even if you jump around this corner here and you try and bait them towards you, this would be a little bit of a risky jump because the Junkrat can still walk on you without bubble, but it would still bait them to come back. Alternatively, since no one is on the high ground apart from the Ana, you can still jump onto the high ground, still try to contest the Ana. Although she might sleep you, it will probably force her off. So let's see what we do instead. So we're walking up again, we're face tanking, we're running right into the Junkrat. You have to avoid being close quarters with a Junkrat unless you have bubble. So as you can see, he's healing through it, and by now you honestly should be dead. They should have completely killed you by now. And this is a really risky jump. Let's again talk about why it's a risky jump. You're half HP. Look, again, you're half HP, jumping in with half HP. And in terms of your jump, you kind of overshoot your jump, and then you don't use melee at the end. So here's the kind of jump combo you should be doing. If you want to do a short jump, whilst you're jumping, you hold S. Hold S whilst you jump. It will shorten your jump, so you land directly on top of the Junkrat. So you jump, hold S, and at the end of your jump, you need to melee. Before you hit the ground, you need to use melee. That is the way to get the maximum combo damage for Winston. You jump. Holding S is optional. This is just so you land on top of the Junkrat, because let's say you wanted to land on this Ana. Where's she gone? The further away you land from this Ana, like if you land here instead of landing here, you will do less damage. So you want to maximize your jump pack damage, and at the same time you want to melee right before, literally like a millisecond before your jump animation completes, before you land on top of her, to maximize your damage. So I want to see you start using that combo in the future as well. Okay, so again, we're just spending way too long in front of the enemy team, right in front of them with no bubble. Okay, so we're now going to move on. We're kind of going to move away from the idea of you face tanking. We've covered it. We've covered, why it's bad to go in with half HP, that we should be using cover more often, that we should be backing away when we don't have bubble. So we're going to move on from that, and I'm going to now try to talk to you about target priority. So if we think about target priority, this Ana, she's been in this power position for so long and nobody is touching her. I bet if we keep playing the replay, it'll be a while before she drops off. She's still not dropped. Still not dropped. Still not dropped. And can you see, again, you spend all your time face tanking. Instead, what could you be doing? Obviously, we could displace the Ana from her power position. So what I'm going to do for the rest of this replay is try to show you patterns of you missing this opportunity. So this could be a decent staging jump that you could have done. You did not have to use your bubble. You could have jumped as you did, land here, and now play it around this pillar. What will this allow you to stage for? Have a think about what we just talked about. Obviously, it will allow you to stage to displace the Ana. So let's see where we go with this. So again, you're backing away. You're full HP and you're backing away. Instead of backing away and kind of restarting your stage, what can you do? Think about what we just talked about. I need you to move here. I need you to start moving into a position where you can execute a dive. Like this, perfect. But now we don't have bubbles, so we have to be really careful. And again, what do you think is going to be the best option for you here? Go for the Torb, who has 2 pockets. Junkrat, 2 pockets. Sigma, full HP. Or the Ana, who's alone. On the high ground, on a power position. So again, you go for the Junkrat. He gets healed by the Ana. It's like, what can you do? What value can you actually get going through this as Winston? Not a lot. And this is why you're going to be struggling as Winston. The fact that they have a spam comp and it's high damage actually has nothing to do with the fact that you're getting no value. You're getting no value because we're missing this golden opportunity here. There's somebody out of position. There's someone we can kill. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to skip forward because I don't want to bash on you for missing the Ana time after time. So we're going to go forward a little bit to the next point. Okay. So again, let's think about target priority. And also, so target priority and how to stage for that target. So we really want to be going for either the Junkrat if he's alone or the healers. So if we think about Juno Ana, can either of them heal through your bubble? No, they can't heal through your bubble, which means if you use your bubble to create separation, let's say you landed like on top of the Juno, then you walk forward a little bit and you bubble, the Ana is separated from the Juno. The Juno's already half HP because of your combo, and now you separated her from Ana. So can Ana heal the Juno? No. If you separate them, you can finish the kill on the Juno, then the Ana doesn't have a second support. If she doesn't have a second support, it's a lot easier to kill the Ana. Make sense? Perfect. So as you can see, we're just kind of walking forward in a straight line again. Think about how you could stage. So I want to get, in between these two or on top of one of these two healers, okay? Think about how you could stage. I'm going to give you a few seconds to think about it. Okay, so in terms of staging, I would love for you to be on top of here. The reason why you should be on top of here and not just standing main is one, because it makes it easier for you to kind of bypass things like the Sigma damage, some of the Torb damage, and jump and land on top of them. That's the first reason. The second reason is, if you're up here, the enemy team now has to choose, do I look at the Winston and try and shoot the Winston? And in that case, I can't look at the Ana, I can't look at the Sojourn when she comes back, I can't look at the Genji, or the Kiri, or do they look at all of these guys and let you do whatever you want? And if you can do whatever you want, what do you think is going to happen? Of course, if you can do whatever you want, you're going to jump, you're going to create separation, and you're going to be able to secure a kill. That's the basic idea. That's the trend that we're following. So let's go through and see what happens. Again, this bubble, I think you need to be very careful with how you're bubbling. What I mean by that is you need to think, do I actually need this bubble right now? Is this bubble doing anything for me, or can I just get healed? In this situation, you can just get healed. You stand here, you use cover, you just get healed. Okay? When would you use your bubble? Well, your bubble should either be used to block damage that is actually lethal, that is actually going to force you out of position or kill you, or it should be used to, what did we say before? Create separation. Those are the primary uses of your bubble. So we can see, we're 5 minutes into the replay, but we've learned so much about what we want to change with Winston. The last thing I'd like to look at is your primals. Yeah, so we're going to look at your primals, and then we'll wrap it up. Because we've already been able to pick up so much just from looking at a couple of fights. So let's look at this primal. So we jump in. Okay. Let's see, what situation are we in? Okay, so everyone's alive, we're low HP, we jump in, and we primal. Okay, let's have a quick look at, did you use the jump combo before you use primal? Again, early bubble, you can just, like all of this damage, right? You could just avoid it by standing at the side. This is what you need to realize. You are not forced to bubble if you have cover available. I think, no, you didn't. So you need to, if you melee before you land, then you get the jump damage, you get the melee damage, and then you get the punch damage. So the Juno loses so much HP. Like the Juno would be one punch away if you would have meleeed before you got into primal. Don't waste your primal on a turret. You should be looking for, again, primal is similar to bubble actually, can be used for separation. You separate the backline. If the backline is separated, can they heal each other? No. If they can't heal each other, it's easier for you to get a kill. So I wouldn't waste your time with turret. Okay. So again, the problem we're having with primal, and I just want to watch one more primal to confirm this. Okay, so you jump in and you primal on full HP. The reason why you shouldn't primal on full HP is because you have the opportunity to force people to use their cooldowns first. So watch this. So you jump in, sure. But before you primal, force the Ana to use her sleep. Force the Torb to use his E. Force the Sigma to use his rock when his thing comes off cooldown. These are the things you can be baiting out. You can force the enemy to use their cooldowns, which means when you pop primal, now they have nothing to stop you or to survive whilst you're in primal. So that's another thing you need to be looking out for. Try to get low, use your HP to exchange for the enemy's cooldowns so you can get even more value when it comes to your primal. Now I'm going to look at the actual primal execution. Again, going for the turret is not a priority. We're booping people in towards our seed, nice. But what I'm noticing is you don't know how to judge your jump distance. So what I mean by that is, for example, if the Ana is here, what you should do is walk forward, punch her, and then jump to try to match the distance that she travels. Alternatively, let's say the Ana was actually where your Sojourn is now, okay? You need to angle your camera so you're looking in the direction to land on top of the Sojourn if this was the Ana. But what I'm noticing with you is you're just kind of looking forward and jumping and overshooting your jump. So especially in your primals, I want you to be practicing getting the right jump distance so you can land on top of people, because what did we say about jump pack damage? Landing on top of Ana versus landing here. You get more damage when you land right on top of them. So to wrap it up, those are all the things that we've covered for Winston. We have quite an extensive list of things to focus on. I suggest rewatch this video one more time. I try to make some notes on what you want to prioritize when it comes to Winston, but there's a lot to learn here, a lot to improve. I'd say pick 1 to 2 things to majorly focus on. If you have any questions, please do let me know, and good luck with your climb.